I never thought I'd spend my daughter's first birthday with police officers pointing their hands toward their guns at me right in my own backyard. All because one woman decided we didn't belong there. That day started as the happiest moment of my life and turned into a nightmare that still makes my blood boil when I think about it. We'd been planning Ella's birthday for months. My wife, Maria, went all out pink balloons. A little white bounce house ribs on the grill, Stevie Wonder playing low from the speakers. My parents, brothers, nieces. Everyone was there. It felt like the American dream. In real time, a quiet street, our first home, our family laughing together. I remember holding my little girl in my arms, her tiny hands sticky from cake, and thinking, we made it. That moment of peace lasted about 10 seconds. The gate creaked open behind me, and in marched Karen Hernandez, the woman who lived right behind us. She was in her late 60s, blonde perm that looked like a helmet-tight beige pants, lime polo shirt, and the kind of scowl that could curdle milk. She didn't knock. She just stormed right in like she owned the place. "You people don't belong here," she screamed, pointing her finger at me. The party went dead silent. Even the music seemed to stop. My baby started crying in my arms. I took a slow breath. "Ma'am, you're on private property," I said as calmly as I could. Karen sneered. "Private property, yours. I've lived here 40 years. I know what belongs and what doesn't." My dad took a step forward, but my brother held him back. We all knew how this game worked. Karen wanted a reaction, a scene. She wanted to play the victim. Then she said it. "All this noise, this music, it's ghetto." That word hung in the air like poison. I told her one last time, "Please leave, you are trespassing." She smiled, this smug, knowing little smile, and pulled out her phone. "Oh, I'll leave," she said. Right after, I call the police and report the real trespassers. My heart dropped. She dialed 911 and started performing. Her voice went all shaky and breathless. "There's a large group of people," she said. "They broke into the yard behind me. They're yelling, they're aggressive. I think they might be on drugs." My wife stepped forward, furious. "You're lying. We live here. This is our home." Karen turned her back, whispering into the phone. "They're getting agitated now. One of them's very large, threatening me." She looked right at me when she said it, me standing there with my crying 1-year-old daughter. Minutes later, the sirens came. 2 officers walked through the gate, 1 man, 1 woman, hands resting near their weapons. "Sir," the man said, "put the child down and place your hands where we can see them." My wife gasped. "He's her father. This is our house." But the officer didn't even look at her. He only saw the story Karen had sold him. I wanted to scream, to rage, but all I could think about was my little girl. I gently handed her to Maria, my hands trembling, and raised them. "My hands are up," I said. "There is no threat here. We're just celebrating a birthday." Eventually, the female officer started checking the documents. Maria had pulled out the deed, utility bills, IDs with our address. Slowly, the tension shifted. She looked from the papers to us, then to Karen. "Ma'am," she asked, "is it true you walked into their yard uninvited?" Karen's face went red. It was a disturbance I was investigating. The officer sighed. "Ma'am, that's trespassing." When they finally told her to leave, she glared at us like she was etching our names into a list. "This isn't over," she hissed. I didn't know how right she was. A week later, a letter from the HOA showed up, official header, cold language. Noise violation, unauthorized gathering, unapproved backyard structure. I laughed out loud at that last one. The unapproved structure was my daughter's 5-foot-tall swing set from Target. My wife just shook her head. "She's not done. She's gonna bury us in paperwork." That night I ordered 4 security cameras. If she so much as blinked in our direction, I'd have it on tape. When I climbed the ladder to mount the last one, I caught her peeking through her blinds. I smiled, gave her a little wave. Let her know the game had changed. Then came the worst attack yet. I was at work when Maria called, her voice shaking. "They're here," she whispered. "Child Protective Services." For a second, I couldn't breathe. Someone had reported that we were neglecting our baby, using drugs, keeping the house filthy. I didn't have to guess who to guess. When I got home, a caseworker was sitting in our living room, clipboard in hand, while my wife tried not to cry. Ella was in her playpen, babbling to her toys. The house was spotless. The caseworker looked around, obviously seeing how absurd it all was. Maria said quietly, "We know who made the report, our neighbor. She called the police on us last week. We have the report number if you want it." The caseworker sighed. "For what it's worth, I'm sorry you're going through this. This looks like a malicious report. We'll mark it unfounded." She handed us her card. "If anything else happens, call me directly." After she left, Maria collapsed in my arms and sobbed. That broke something in me. I wasn't going to just react anymore. I was going to fight back. I called our real estate lawyer, Grant, and laid it all out. The trespassing the false 911 call, the HOA letters, now CPS. He took notes, his jaw tight. "This is harassment," he said, "and with a racial motive it's serious. Document everything. Video letters, witnesses, every detail." So that's what we did. We became our own investigators. Every glare, every note, every twitch of her blinds went into a shared folder. And then came the HOA meeting notice mandatory attendance. Karen would be there. My lawyer told me, "Go. Let her dig her own grave." The clubhouse was packed. Karen sat in the front row, her lime green polo like a flag of arrogance. When the board chair mentioned recent neighborhood disturbances, she jumped up. "This community has standards," she said. "Certain people don't respect them. Loud music, crowds, this is not what our neighborhood represents." She didn't say our names. She didn't have to. When she sat down, I stood up. "My name is David McMichael. I live at 24 Maple Street, and I'm the disturbance she's talking about." The room fell silent. I told them everything. The birthday party, her trespassing, her 911, lie, the CPS report. When I said she accused us of abusing our baby, there was an audible gasp. I held up a folder thick with papers. "Here's the police report. Here's the letter from CPS clearing us. Here's footage of her filming our family from her porch. This isn't about noise, it's a campaign of harassment." Karen jumped up sputtering. "That's a lie." Bob, the HOA president, cut her off. "Sit down, Mrs. Hernandez." Neighbors started speaking up. One woman said, "I heard the party, it was just music and laughter." Another added, "She's filed complaints about half this block." The board dropped every complaint against us that night. For the first time, the neighborhood saw her for who she really was. But I wasn't satisfied with public sympathy. I wanted legal protection. 2 weeks later, we were in court filing for a restraining order. She showed up with some bargain bin lawyer still clinging to her Victim Act. My lawyer went first. He had me testify step by step from the moment she burst through our gate to the CPS nightmare. I stuck to the facts. When I described being ordered to put my baby down at gunpoint, the courtroom went so quiet I could hear the air conditioner hum. Then Karen took the stand. She wept, claimed she'd been terrified that we were intimidating. She denied everything, trespassing, filming, even making the CPS call. Her lawyer asked, "You never recorded them?" "Absolutely not," she said, chin high. Grant stood up. "Your Honor, permission to play a short video clip." The judge nodded, and there it was on the screen, clear as day. Karen standing on her porch, phone up, recording my wife and daughter in our yard. The color drained from her face. Her lawyer sank in his seat. The judge took off his glasses. "Ma'am, your testimony is inconsistent with the evidence. Counsel advise your client about perjury." He turned to us. "No one should be made to feel unsafe in their own home. Based on the credible evidence of harassment, I am granting the restraining order. 3 years. No contact, no gestures, no emails, no standing in her yard if we were outside." And then, icing on the cake, he added, "This court is forwarding the transcript to the district attorney for potential criminal charges regarding false reports." Karen gasped. The sound of that gavel hitting the desk might be the sweetest sound I've ever heard. When we walked out of that courtroom, I felt 10 feet tall. Months of fear and humiliation finally lifted. For once, the system actually worked. That's where I'll stop my story, right there in that hallway outside the courtroom, holding my wife's hand, knowing the monster next door had finally lost. Because sometimes the only way to protect your peace is to fight for it.